Yes.
Pyrex and microwave in
I'm
the
out
whip.
here,
You
you
probably
heard?
think I'm baking cake when I'm working the whip. You probably think it's Pyrex.
Whole lot of shots followed after I bust your snot box. Witness a rock bottle. Shoot the fair one, mono the clown.
Which active player will make the best head coach someday? Hey, you can say Chris Paul all you want. I don't see any way. I don't think that Chris Paul has that kind of temperament. I see the way he interacts with his teammates and the way he interacts with his opponents. I don't see any way Chris Paul will ever be a head coach in the NBA. That's not saying he can't do it. As we talked about with Kirk, Kirk had never done it before, and now everybody's saying he's the best coach in the world. So, well, not the best coach, but it's close to it. Obviously, Chris Paul can do it. He's forgotten more about basketball than Steve Kerr knows. But I don't see him having the temperament for it. And frankly, I don't see him having that kind of desire. I picture Chris Paul's post-playing career differently. The guy on here that I think is interesting, there's two names on here that I think are interesting. I don't get the Steve Blake one at all. I don't get that at all. He's just a marginal point guard. Like, somebody may make him a head coach, but why? I don't know why he would be a guy a GM would say. More than one GM, in fact, will go, yeah, Steve Blake's going to be a coach. He's going to be a great head coach one day. Why? I don't get it. Like, when I'm watching him play, I don't find him to be a particularly intelligent player. Like, not that he's dumb or anything, but I don't see anything about his game that would say that. Same with Kirk Heinrich. Kirk Heinrich is one of the dumbest. Now, Kirk Heinrich actually does play dumb. Kirk Heinrich is one of the most turnover-prone, goofy, bad shot-taking point guards I've ever seen. He makes horrible decisions. Pablo Prigioni as well. What's he doing on here? It's just a lot of random dudes on here, actually, when I'm looking at it. Garrett Temple. It's a weird name. What's that doing on there? I don't know. But the names that intrigue me on here, Mike Conley Jr. and Andre Miller. And Jared Jack as well. Jared Jack is a locker room leader. Jared Jack has a lot of similar characteristics to Derek Fisher in terms of the way that he's viewed in locker rooms. So I could see Jared Jack being a head coach. And again, the same with Andre Miller and Mike Conley Jr., guys that are brilliantly intelligent players that seem to have that kind of even-keeled temperament where they would make good coaches if they wanted to do it. A lot of this is just mindless speculation. And now we get to the miscellaneous categories. Which team is most fun to watch? Golden State, obviously, it's not even close. Which team has the best home court advantage? You see a lot of these teams out west that have these, really explosively loud arenas. Golden State, Oklahoma City, and Utah. No argument there. Which player is the most athletic? All of these guys are all supremely athletic. I think the name that jumps out is the name that hasn't been mentioned yet, Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is Zach LaVine is a super, super athlete. So it's just cool to see his name up there. But yes, all these guys are great athletes. Which player is the best pure shooter? Stephen Curry at 79%. And I don't think we need to really talk about that anymore. Which player is the fastest with the ball? Is that true? I don't know. Is that true? John Wall is one of those players. He gets a lot of I don't know that he's that much faster than everybody else. I don't know that for a fact. He's really fast, but is he faster than Westbrook? I don't know. But sometimes Westbrook, man, just looks like, even Westbrook, everything looks so violent and explosive. You just kind of get the feeling that he's moving. You get the feeling that nobody could be faster than Russell Westbrook. It's like, who's faster, him or Usain Bolt? Russell Westbrook, because he flails his arms when he's running. But all of these guys are extremely fast, including Ish Smith. Jeff Teague is one of those guys that is a rare guy that people don't really talk about his speed. Jeff Teague is one of the fastest dudes in the league. Man, can he go. Which player is best moving without the ball? Kyle Korver beating Klay Thompson by that much is silly. Klay Thompson is what I talked about. We did a show on Klay Thompson, and we talked about him at length as well during the Top 4 Shooting Guard show. Klay Thompson is the scariest guy in terms of off the ball motion. He's the scariest guy. Kyle Korver, look, Bradley Beal closed the door on that guy in the playoffs. Closed the door on him. And then when they got past Washington had to play Cleveland. He couldn't get anything done against Iman Shumpert either. So I don't understand the Kyle Korver 69 and then Klay Thompson an all-star at 14%. Don't get that. Here is where the GMs just go off the rails. They go totally off the rails here. Which player is the best passer? If you notice here, the number 2 assist man in the league, John Wall, is not listed. I don't know what to tell you about that, other than there's the GMs again with a making a mistake. Like, it's like they don't really know what type of player John Wall is. They're still just sitting here saying the stuff that was said about him on draft night, that he's the fastest guy in the world with the ball. John Wall runs a team, man. Washington is only a team that anybody cares about because of that man. And this is disrespectful. To say that Ricky Rubio is a better passer than John Wall, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're not watching basketball. You're just not. The rest of these guys, all great passers, whatever. You want to say LeBron James is too. I disagree with it, but whatever. I'm fine with it. But to have a dude in Ricky Rubio who's barely a player, you know what? Here, fine. Let's go and look at Ricky Rubio. Let's go and look at Ricky Rubio, who's so great. Let's go look at Ricky Rubio. Fine. Ricky Rubio, he's awesome. And apparently a better passer than John Wall. Now, I'm assuming those are the stupid preseason statistics, so we're not going to look at that. So we have to go to 2014 and regular season, right? He played 22 games last year. Now, his assist per game is actually high, but he's only played 22 games. I didn't even realize that because he's not good and his team is awful. But this is a dude that played 22 games. And we're like, hey, who's the best passer? Some GM's like, yeah, it's Ricky Rubio. He didn't even play last year. Get out of here with that, okay? Get out of here. Like, you want to do that, you want to say that kind of stuff again, as a GM, you should probably be fired. What bench player makes the biggest impact when he enters the game? Andre Iguodala. That's because he should be starting. Isaiah Thomas, Jamal Crawford, Tony Allen. Okay. We got Marco Bellinelli, who was a big time reserve last year. Corey Brewer, Taj Gibson, Manu Ginobili. Draymond Green, he's a starter. I don't know why he's on here. Nikola Mirotic, Tristan Thompson, and Lou Williams. Interesting. Who is the toughest player in the NBA? I'm going to tell you like this. This is actually not close. It's Tony Allen. And if you don't believe that, Google him. But it's Tony Allen. All dark alley, as Jalen Rose would say. Draymond Green, number 2. Kobe Bryant, number 3. Tied with Jimmy Butler. Zebo, tied with Jimmy Butler. And Russell Westbrook, tied with Zebo. All 6.9%. The interesting thing about toughest, and then Andrew Bogan on here, that's stupid. He's not tough at all. Tough in what way? Dude stays injured for one thing. Like, what's tough about him? I don't get it. But anyway, all of these players are all drastically different. And it all depends on what type of toughness you're talking about, right? So it's interesting how I think that the definition, a lot of these votes, it depends on what you interpret to mean the question to mean. Like, are we talking about all dark alley, or are we talking about playing through injuries? Are we talking about mental toughness and being able to always do the right things no matter what the situation in the game is, and being disciplined? What type of toughness are we talking about? Because I'm going to tell you like this. These guys all tied at 3. Kobe Bryant, Jimmy Butler, Zach Randolph, and Russell Westbrook are all completely different types of toughness. It's not even there's no similarity between these 3 players, or between these 4 players, really. Kobe Bryant is not all dark alley tough. Kobe Bryant is playing through injuries and mental fortitude tough. Jimmy Butler is play the whole game tough. Jimmy Butler, as the famous runs the most miles per game stat. Zach Randolph is all dark alley tough, boy. Get on the block. He's a refrigerator. You can't move him. Russell Westbrook is insane toughness. He's crazy. Plays through the broken face. Just keeps playing. He's got a dent in his head. He's just playing anyway. So all of these players, they're very, very different. So it just depends on what your definition of tough is. Which player is the best leader? Hey, man, you can say this about all these guys. LeBron James, Tim Duncan, Chris Paul, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, all first ballot Hall of Famers. Who is the league's best role player? Depends on what your definition of role is. It's just a bunch of random dudes on here that are not superstars that are good. So yeah, I think all of these guys are all good players. So fine. I love how last year Boris Diaw and Kenneth Faried were tired. Boris Diaw can't play dead. He's terrible. Anyway, which player has the best basketball IQ? Chris Paul, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Tim Duncan. Not going to argue with any of those, even though Rondo should be on here, but whatever. Which player would you want taking a shot with the game on the line? It seems like that was the exact same. Oh, no. We just went over it earlier because they mentioned Steph Curry was tops earlier. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Carmelo Anthony. Can't go wrong with any of those guys. What rule regarding play, draft lottery, playoff format, etc., needs the most change? Change the lottery. That's interesting. Add rights to D-League players. That is very interesting. So they want a longer draft. Reduce the length and number of timeouts. That's interesting. 5, adopt FIBA goaltending basketball interference rules. No. Nope. Now, what they're talking about is they're talking about adjusting the way the goaltending is called. And in FIBA, if you notice, when the ball will hit the rim and guys will be slapping the ball and all kinds of silliness like that. You don't want basketball to be played that way. And the reason you don't want it to be that way, you don't want guys like Andre Drummond yanking the ball off the rim and stuff like that and tip dunking balls that are already going in. You don't want that, man. You just don't want to add that kind of silliness to the game. Also receiving votes, adjust salary cap exemptions for teams in states with no income tax, advance the ball rule, remove the coach's mic, remove the cameraman for the baseline. See, there was one GM out there that actually cared about the players, and he said this: and adjust schedule to remove division weighting, widen the court. Hey, you know what? Some of those are good suggestions, some of them aren't, but you definitely need to remove those cameramen from the baseline. I don't think it's ever going to happen, though. After I saw Chris Paul tear his knee up on a cameraman, we saw last year in the finals, LeBron James hits his head, splits his head open on a cameraman. After seeing those things, if those very visible mega stars can get injured on cameramen and nobody cares, then I guess the league doesn't care, and they're never going to change it. It's unfortunate, but it's not going to happen. So that's the GM survey. Like I said, we went through that off the top of the dome, live in front of you. I hadn't read it before. Always interesting, man. There's a lot of tidbits in there, and there's a lot of stuff in there I'm going to be going back to over the upcoming weeks. So I always like reading this because, again, this is the way that you get a window into what the NBA execs that run these teams, what they think about the players and coaches. So, hey, if you liked the video, hit the thumbs up. Please leave comments, man. We went over basically the entire league. Leave comments, man. We're going to be having a conversation about this. Hit me up on Twitter, SBA 4th String. We're on Vine, we're on Instagram and all that. When I'm watching games, I'm posting videos, so you can see that as well. So, yeah, follow us, subscribe, all of that. Senior basketball analyst, you know that.
Oh yes, Sean Carter is nice, but Sean Price is the best. Sean gone, no Sean Dawn. Sean is a dawn, I don't